Find more questions and study at your own pace on our website. The link will be in the description. Let's get started. Question 1. You are developing a .NET Core MVC application that allows customers to research independent holiday accommodation providers. You want to implement Azure Search to allow the application to search the index by using various criteria to locate documents related to accommodation venues. You want the application to list holiday accommodation venues that fall within a specific price range and are within a specified distance to an airport. What should you do? Option A. Configure the search mode property of the search parameters class. Option B. Configure the query type property of the search parameters class. Option C. Configure the facets property of the search parameters class. Option D. Configure the filter property of the search parameters class. The answer is option D. To list holiday accommodation venues within a specific price range and distance to an airport, you should configure the filter property of the search parameters class. The filter property allows you to specify OData $filter expressions to narrow down search results based on specified criteria, such as price and geographic proximity. This is essential for filtering documents that meet exact requirements. Question 2. You are developing an e-commerce solution that uses a microservice architecture. You need to design a communication backplane for communicating transactional messages between various parts of the solution. Messages must be communicated in first in, first out order. What should you use? Option A. Azure Storage Queue. Option B. Azure Event Hub. Option C. Azure Service Bus. Option D. Azure Event Grid. The answer is option C. Azure Service Bus should be used when your solution requires guaranteed first in, first out order delivery. It supports complex messaging workflows, transaction support, and ensures messages are processed in the order they are sent. Unlike Azure Storage Queue, which doesn't guarantee FIFO, Azure Service Bus provides the necessary functionality for reliable and ordered message delivery in a microservice architecture. Question 3. You develop an Azure App Service web app and deploy to a production environment. You enable application insights for the web app. The web app is throwing multiple exceptions in the environment. You need to examine the state of the source code and variables when the exceptions are thrown. Which application insights feature should you configure? Option A. Smart Detection. Option B. Profiler. Option C. Snapshot Debugger. Option D. Standard Test. The answer is option C. The Snapshot Debugger is an application insights feature that allows you to capture the state of the source code and variables at the time an exception is thrown. It captures a snapshot of the call stack, local variables, and object state during the exception, making it easier to diagnose and fix issues in the code. Question 4. You develop and deploy an Azure App Service web app named App1. You create a new Azure Key Vault named Vault1. You import several API keys, passwords, certificates, and cryptographic keys into Vault1. You need to grant App1 access to Vault1 and automatically rotate credentials. Credentials must not be stored in code. What should you do? Option A. Enable App Service Authentication for Apple. Assign a custom RBAC role to Vault1. Option B. Add a TLS/SSL binding to App1. Option C. Upload a self-signed client certificate to Vault1. Update App1 to use the client certificate. Option D. Assign a managed identity to App1. The answer is option D. To grant App1 access to Vault1 and automatically rotate credentials without storing them in code, you should assign a managed identity to App1. Managed identities for Azure resources enable Azure services to authenticate to other Azure resources without managing authentication details directly in the code. This approach ensures that credentials are securely managed and rotated automatically by Azure Key Vault, meeting the requirements outlined in the question. Question 5. You have an existing Azure storage account that stores large volumes of data across multiple containers. You need to copy all data from the existing storage account to a new storage account. The copy process must meet the following requirements. Automate data movement. Minimize user input required to perform the operation. Ensure that the data movement process is recoverable. What should you use? Option A, AsCopy. Option B, Azure Storage Explorer. Option C, Azure Portal. Option D, Net Storage Client Library. The answer is option A. AsCopy is a command line utility designed for copying data to and from Azure storage accounts. It allows for automation of data movement through scripting, minimizing user input. Additionally, AsCopy operations are recoverable as it provides mechanisms to resume failed jobs, ensuring the robustness of the data transfer process. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to check out our website where you can find more questions for this exam. The link will be in the description. Thank you for watching and good luck on your exams.